I'll try not to cry. You guys know me pretty well by now. A week ago, I signed up to speak here with the express purpose of thanking Pat Taylor and her team for our redesign. We have enough classrooms for our children this year, which is great, and to plead with you for a long-term solution. That same afternoon, Mayor Daley announced that we would be getting our annex.
Emmanuel.
Mayor Emmanuel, oh my gosh, please strike that from the record. Oh my God, I can't believe, you can see how nervous I am. I always get nervous. But my community is still doing cartwheels of joy and gratitude. This is the first of many thank yous. Our children and teachers and parents are planning a lot of thank yous for everybody who's been involved in this story. Mr. Ruiz was there. He knows the energy. We commit to doing Chicago Public Schools proud and the city of Chicago proud. We commit to creative and cutting-edge innovations in curriculum, assessment, and instruction, to participate fully in opportunities to explore and share strategies for what it means to be a world-class school in the 21st century. We commit this to all of you. We are so grateful. We're grateful to every one of you. So many of you have visited us. So many of you have been part of this story, and we want you to come visit us and experience the deep, deep gratitude our community feels. Thank you so, so much.
Thank you for being a great leader of your great learning community. It's a special place, so it was great to be out there with you last week.
Thank you. Our next speaker, please. Next speaker is speaker number 8, Megan Schmidt.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Megan Schmidt from Chicago International Charter School. Thank you, President Vitale and the CPS board. I'm here just for a couple reasons. One is to thank the administrators and the president, the CEO of CPS, to join over 500 public charter school families at a town hall last week. We were delighted
Ms. Schmidt, please stop. You deserve the respect of able to speak. I'm sorry.
That's
Please go
okay,
ahead.
thank you. Secondly, I would just like to thank the board and the administration on the creation of an advisory board which will include public charter school families. Parents will make up that board. We appreciate that very much to further the educational opportunities for over 9,000 students in the K-12 CICS system, as well as our other charter school families. Finally, we'd like to say thank you to the board, the administration, and the CEO, Barbara Bird Bennett, in working together as we come together with common goals as we work in Chicago and Springfield. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. My name is Reverend Calvin Bridges. I am president of Chicago Praise Ministries, and my faith-based organization works closely with CICS and other charter schools in regard to quality options for our school students. First of all, I just want to thank the board for allowing me this opportunity and for assisting CICS in the work that they do. As I have sat here this morning and listened to the many, many concerns of the elected officials and parents and community members, we have so many things that need to be fixed in our school system, but I'm standing as an advocate for CICS to shine a light on the work that they are doing at over 16 campuses in the Chicagoland area. We have a high school, graduation rate of 90%, and college acceptance of 94% of those high school graduates. So I'm saying this to say this: we have models that work. We have models that are benefiting our children. So I'm hoping that in the midst of all of our quandary of emotions that are going on, that we can look also and focus on the things that are working and help to facilitate those things, because I'm sure that everyone in here who has a student or is a member of a community, you would like for those numbers to be in your community. So let's do what we can to shine the light on those schools that are really, really working hard to do the best for our students. I thank you so much for this opportunity.
Thank you. I assure you we appreciate the quality of the work that CICS does. Thank you.
Thank you. As Mr. Stieber approaches the microphone, our next speakers then will be speaker number 12, please, Wanda Hopkins, followed by speaker number 13, George Blakemore, and then speaker number 15, Evangeline Nubian, and speaker 16, Randall Jackson.
Hi, my name is Arnie Stieber, and I'm a father, a grandfather, a retired business person, a military veteran. I was in the Army, in the infantry in Vietnam, and the president of the Chicago chapter of Veterans for Peace. I'm going to talk to you about a topic you probably never heard about before. As I stood on the street watching the last Memorial Day parade, I was struck by the legions of young, mostly black males marching behind their JROTC banners. There were hundreds, maybe 1,000. I suspect they weren't from the North Side. They were being taught that they can get recognition by being in the military. The crowds cheered, the flags waved, proud parents stood and watched. What most didn't see was the long-run result. The children were being taught that the military solution to conflict, that is death and destruction, is the American way. We don't send in the Marines to have dialogue. We don't drop bombs, shoot rockets, and invade countries to learn about their needs. The U.S. has a culture of violence, and much of it stems from our promotion of the military and its joined at the head partner, violence. CPS is the most militarized school system in the country. The myth is that military teaches discipline. The reality is that the military teaches people to be pawns, to follow orders without question, to do as they are told. If we truly want our children to be the best that they can be, then schools must be the place to teach them to think, to teach them to question, to teach them to explore.
Mr. Stieber, excuse me, can you please conclude?
Yep.
Thank you.
Not march like lemmings. On behalf of the children and the long-run future of this city and this country, stand against the culture of violence, set a national example, demilitarize CPS. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker, please, Wanda Hopkins.
Good morning, or is it afternoon? President Vitale, Member Biden, I didn't know you, Dr. Hines, Vice President Ruiz, Ms. Quazo. I called you by name because I want to just say a few things personally to you. My name is Wanda Hopkins. I do not represent Whitney Young, but I am a proud parent of a 9th grader at Whitney Young High School. I do represent LSCs. I've been an LSC member for 23 years, an advocate for children across Illinois for 37 years, and an LSC advisory board member for 6 years, and who I really represent, a facilitator and trainer for Parents United for Responsible Education. And now they're calling on me to say something because I have not been here for a year after attending board meetings for 30-some years. They're saying to me across the United States, please be the ambassador for the parents of the Chicago, Illinois. I have a few questions that I'd like to ask. I feel bad Dr. Bennett is not here because they was primarily coming to her. I'm going to be asking questions that may be affecting parents like me or the other 300,000 parents that sits in Chicago Public Schools. Number one, why would we hold one day for parent report card pickup knowing that some parents have 3 and 4 children all attending different schools, and some may even be teachers and staff in Chicago Public Schools? My question was to Dr. Bennett, where is your consideration for parents and staff of 24,000 employees who want to see what's on their children's report card as well? I think you need to revise that calendar. Secondly, I'd like to talk about the consideration of the LSC with one day for the LSC. Is there such a thing as sabotaging the election for local school councils? Because I know you must not talk to Phil Hampton, who knows better, or Willie in LSC relations. Again, that calendar need to be revised. It does not take a rocket scientist to understand that 2 days were better than one.
Ms. Hopkins,
As far as all resources.
Ms. Hopkins,
Yes, that
Thank
are
you.
finally reaching the classroom. I want to say to you that young men who are killing young kids they're not classroom children. We need to put resources into centers and give jobs so that people can understand things that's going on. In closing, I pass Dart School every day as I take my child to Whitney Young. That was a contract school that I had a problem with when it opened. They just closed at the end of the year. So I say to this board, are you going to continue to open up schools who do not have the commitment to educate children that continue to scar the children and families in our community? I wish y'all would ask me a question. Because
Thank
we
you.
have got to understand
Thank
we've
you,
got
Ms.
to
Hopkins.
do a better job
Our
of
next
what we're
speaker,
doing
please.
inside the Chicago Public Schools.
Our next speaker is speaker number 13, George Blakemore, please.
My name is George Blakemore, and this is a saga that's happening with education here in the city of Chicago. When you look at and read about crime in the black community, how can you have a world-class city when your school system is not world-class? How can you elevate the near north side and deny public education with dignity and respect on the south side and the west side of Chicago? This is a mockery. It's the game. It's a dog and pony show. And you are being seen, have been seen on national television about high crime and shootings because the miseducation of the black children. The miseducation. Carter G. Woodson spoke about this many, many years ago. And at the hands of miseducating black people are other black people. You know, when we was on the plantation, we had two enemies. We had the master and we had the black overseers. So this is why we have crime, unemployment in the black community. So I'm wondering about this clock. It ticks fast for some and slow for others. When the president of the union got up, she spoke longer. When the city council members got up, they spoke longer. It shouldn't be big eyes and little eyes. It shouldn't be, you should have an equal education system funded. I believe that black kids can be educated
Mr.
by
Blakemore?
black people in our community.
Mr.
So Mr.
Blakemore?
Blakemore have been seen. That's why I put on this little costume. I've been heard, and the ancestors will appreciate me, even if you don't. May God bless you, and in return, may you bless somebody else.
Thank you, Mr. Blakemore.
Particularly people of color, black children, and thank you.
Our next speaker, please. Our next speaker, please. Speaker number 15, Evangeline Nubian, followed by speaker 16, Randall Jackson, and then speaker number 19, Alfred Rogers, followed by speaker 20, Teresa Black, then speaker 21, Diane Schmidt.
Good morning. I invite you all to kick the K-word habit. A kid is an animal beast with 2 legs. A child is a human being person with 4 legs. Children deserve and have an inalienable right to be called human beings, boys and girls. If you love them, take the name of the beast from them. As founding president of Global Committee commemorating King Days, on September 15th, 2013, the 50th anniversary of the bombing of the 4 little girls in Birmingham, we kicked off an initiative to change the brain and better the behavior. A cost-effective way to do that is to add the 3 key principles of the American Civil Rights Renaissance of the 1960s to the school calendar. Those principles are January 15th, white colors, to affirm and practice the principles of human and civil rights. April 4th, black colors, visually affirm to the principles of nonviolence. And August 28th, black and white colors, to visually affirm and practice the spiritual and moral principles of righteousness, justice, peace, peoplehood, and cultural coexistence. We plan to introduce our bill in Springfield to put these days on the school calendar. And along with these days comes 3 speeches. The Emancipation Proclamation, January 1st, 1863, Dr. King's Emancipation Dream Speech, August 28, 1963, and Barack Obama's Yes We Can Victory Speech, November 4th, 2008.
Ms.
It took
Nubian?
145 years to
Nubian,
accomplish that.
excuse me, can you please conclude?
Yes,
Thank
it took
you.
145 years to accomplish that thought. Our children in a country like America desperately needs to be taught the principles of human and civil rights, nonviolence, and spiritual and moral principles, especially since we have a history of blacks have no rights.
Thank you, Mr. Nubian.
And I thank you. Thank you.
Our next speaker, please, Speaker 16, Randall Jackson.
Good afternoon. I'm here on behalf of LSC Rights for All School. At the end, I would like Mr. Bobbitt to answer the question, where is it that we have to go through the law department, and I've been up a number of times, to receive documents that stated in the Illinois school codes that we have a right to? It seems that each school, especially with children, that each document that I have, I put in the writing that they're saying that they have to go through the law department for me to receive budget, teacher position, whatever, that they have to come through you for me to receive this. The Illinois school code says I doesn't need to come through you or your authority to receive these paperwork. Number 2, where did it state that I need the permission, and I want you to explain this to the people, where does it state I need the permission of the principal to monitor what goes on into the school? I asked Willie, he's still saying that I have to get the authority, but yet the Illinois school code doesn't state. Today I present you documents showing that we was working with a teacher to put in a reading program at Tilden High School. This was over 3 years ago. I'm quite sure some of the board members received that document. But yet, they kicked the teachers out, who was Miss Earlene Williams, who was working with. Now, you want to put technology into the school, but what good is it when a kid can't read? What good is a technology? You can give them all this computer, and what good is it when they can't read? But yet, you fired a teacher 20 years and brought in a teacher who has no more than 5 years. And this is the funny part. The teachers were teaching driver's aid, but he wasn't certified by the board nor the state. I brought this to your attention, but yet this teacher was allowed to do this. You had a teacher who had the credential through the state, through the board, to teach driver's aid. So in other words, you endangering a child by putting someone in there to teach them driver's aid.
Mr. Jackson, excuse me, can you please conclude?
I will. So
Thank
my
you.
question is, what's going on? You're endangering a child by putting someone who doesn't have the credentials to teach driver's ed, and he was allowed to teach it. So, if you can, I'd like to, to answer the question about where I need the authority. And I see you're smiling, but I'm gonna let you know, I'm planning on filing a suit against you for violating my right as a LSC.
Thank you, Mr. Jackson. Our next speaker, please.
Mr. Jackson, if you would see Michelle Hurley, we can get the particulars around your question and answer them directly with you.
No disrespect, but why can't you answer? Why would I have to see? Why don't you let everyone out here know that basically we don't need the authority of the principal to go into a building and monitor? Why can't
Our
you do
next
that?
speaker, please. Mr. Alfred Rogers.
I'm here. But I want to say, Madam Secretary, you skip me this here month, there's communication going on. Thank you.
What did he say?
Next speaker will be speaker number 20, Teresa Black, followed by Diane Schmidt, please. Last call for Teresa Black. Miss Diane Schmidt, please, followed by Speaker 23, Darlene Banner, then Speaker 24, Andrew Gerard, Speaker 25, George Schmidt, and 27, Jacqueline Casimir, please.
Good morning. I hope you don't have speaker overload by this point, but my name is Diane Schmidt. I am a parent of a 7th grader at Lincoln Elementary School. I've served on the PTA at Lincoln for 7 years as a volunteer, chair, and officer, and I am a volunteer member of the CPS Nutrition Education Steering Committee, where we are working to develop an outstanding nutrition curriculum for grades K through 12. I live in Old Town within blocks of 2 magnet schools, LaSalle and Newberry. I'm so close to LaSalle that I can hear the bells and I can hear the PA announcements. We tried to get our daughter into LaSalle, but we were unsuccessful with that. And I was really surprised to learn that only 10% of neighborhood kids get into both LaSalle and Newberry. Because we don't have a neighborhood school, we are assigned to Lincoln, which is 1.5 miles away from our house in the far north area of the attendance boundary. My daughter can't walk to school, so every morning I go out to get in my car while LaSalle families taking their kids to school are waiting for my parking spot, and we keep reversing. And you can see buses and idling with a lot of emissions and noise in the area as well. Now I hear that the mayor has secured millions of dollars for new construction of a middle school for Lincoln to be located at the Children's Memorial Hospital site, even farther from our Old Town neighborhood. And even that there's close proximity to over 2,000 available seats, and there are many low-cost ways to address this mild overcrowding issue. I think this is absolutely a ludicrous idea, and what most concerned me today in listening to something that President Vitale said is that you were talking that you had no control over state funds already earmarked for specific projects, and that tells me what I've heard is that these state funds for the funding of this $50 million middle school has already been earmarked, but I do understand that CPS, the board, has the ability to veto that as well.
Ms. Schmidt,
Yes,
excuse me,
thank
can you please conclude?
Yes. Easy solution, open up some neighborhood classes, neighborhood seats at LaSalle and Newberry. It's such an easy, low-cost solution that would take care of the mild overpopulation that we have at Lincoln Elementary School.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time. Bye-bye.
Our next speaker, please, Darlene Banner.
Hi, good afternoon.
Good morning.
My name is Darlene Banner. I'm a grandparent and a great parent. The school is Earl Elementary School. I support CPS. I support the school closure. I understood and understand the school utilization process. I attended all of the utilization meetings even before the community meetings and the hearings even started. First, I would like to give thanks to Ms. Carol Cram for the help and the words and encouragement to help me and to help our school. I would also like to thank Mr. Philip Hampton for also helping. I would like to thank Ms. Denise Little, and thanks for the office hours by Ms. Quazzo and Ms. Abigail Joseph. I'm here today to ask for help. At what point in time do a principal stop using they and us? We supposed to be one. I need someone to come out to the receiving schools unannounced, not one time. Come out to see how the receiving schools are being treated. Our kids are being mistreated. Parents and the community are being mistreated. We're being treated unfairly. Good low students last year took the Constitution test, the Civil War test, and the state test, yet and still they are being made to take the test over, and I just need some communication to help me understand why did the children have to take the test over. When I went to the principal, she said that's a little thing. To me, that's being unfair. When do we give security at school level the right to tell a student not to respond to their own parent? If we do have disciplines in the school, don't we have the right to know what is the precaution if a child do wrong?
Ms. O'Banner, excuse me, can you please conclude?
If we have meditation in the building, please, we need some communication on that. When will the Wi-Fi be fixed in the schools? When the kids cannot use the iPads and laptops if the Wi-Fi is not working? As you see that I do attend all the meetings, my CAP meetings, local school council No
Ms.
child
Banner?
left behind. I'm on the CPS Food Advisory Board, and I'm not even allowed to go in the building to observe the 5 components.
Thank you, Ms.
of the-
Banner.
Yeah, Mr. Banner, it's my understanding that a number of the people that you mentioned, including Denise and others, have heard you and are working with you to solve the issues that you have raised. So I hope that, in fact, they're being responsive. And if they're not, you know, please call us, and we'll make sure that they are, okay?
Okay, could I see someone today on some of this issue, or have a
Well, maybe,
small meeting with
I
anyone?
thought, have you been talking to Denise Little? And I know you've been talking to Phil. So.
Can I meet with Mr. Hampton or Ms. Little today just to get
Sure. Phil,
a few?
where are you? Would you please meet Ms.
Thank
Banner?
you.
Yes.
Thank you, Ms. O'Banner.
Thank you, Mr. President. Our next speaker then will be Speaker 24, Andrew Gerard, please.
Good afternoon, Board, Council. My name is Andrew Gerard. I'm a very proud husband of a kindergarten teacher at Disney 2 Elementary. I stand before you today requesting that you amend the selective enrollment policy number 602.2 to include enrollment for elementary-aged children of teachers. The change to the magnet school admission policy would provide magnet school teachers with the opportunity to have their children educated in the school where they teach. This proposed policy does not stray too far away from previous admissions policy, where principals have the discretion to give 5% of their available seats to students of their children, often children of magnet school teachers. Additionally, the proposed policy change will make it easier for magnet school teachers to ensure their children receive a good education while fulfilling the residency requirement of their contract. Members of this board, there is a constant debate surrounding how to provide public school teachers with an adequate salary and benefits for the role that they play in the youth of this country. Where most school districts are facing cuts, the Chicago public school system has an opportunity to provide an additional benefit to its magnet school teachers without dramatically affecting its budget. In providing this benefit to the teachers, it is likely that magnet schools will also improve due to the increased investment that teachers have in the school where their children are educated. Historically, magnet school principals were given the discretion to offer 5% of their school's available seats to students of their choice. The common cases for which principal discretion policy was used included twins or multiple births, families who leave for a period of time and then want to re-enter the system, increased diversity, siblings of current students, children of teachers or staff, and preschool students. However, in 2009, CPS determined that in order for principal discretion admission policy to continue in magnet schools, CPS would need to develop a more detailed guideline for its use.
Mr. Gerard, excuse me, can you please conclude?
Yes, ma'am. These
Thank you.
guidelines were never developed, and the principal discretion policy was discontinued in 2010, 2011. The BRC did not recommend that principal discretion policy be reinstituted in magnet schools because many of the key issues had been addressed through other elements of the admission policy, preferred admission for siblings and increased diversity through the tier system. A common case for the use of principal discretion policy that is yet to be addressed through other admission policies is preferred admittance for children of teachers and staff, even though it is supported by the public. In 2012, the BRC...
Mr. Gerard, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.